Hello and welcome to One Called Mama. I am Samantha and I am excited to be here with y'all today. So, last week was a very busy week. I had two conferences back to back. One ended at 2:30 and the other one started at 4:14 on Friday. And then I had the awards luncheon, the Behind Her Brands awards luncheon that I went to on the Wednesday. Very busy week. Wednesday was the luncheon. Thursday and Friday were the Behind Her Brand conference, which is what we're going to talk about today, what happened to me there. And then I went to the Esther Rising 414 conference on Friday through Saturday. So we have some fun things to talk about today, and probably not what you would expect me to talk about. This conference, this Behind Her Brand conference, is a 2-day event. I went to it for the first time last year, but she's been doing these for a while. And this was my second time to attend. And I have been looking forward to this pretty much since I left the conference last April. And so I've been excited about this. I've been looking forward to this. I've been imagining what these 2 days would be like, what I was going to take away, what I was going to talk about, what I was going to hear, who I was going to meet. I had these expectations. I had these ideas, all of this stuff in my head about what was going to happen over these 2 days. Let me tell you, none of those things happened in the way that I thought they would. Now, I do want to preface this before I go into what I'm about to share, that I did take away much useful information. I did take away lots of value because Kimberly DeShields Spencer always provides value. Everything she does, there's immense value. So I took away lots of value. What I didn't expect was what the Lord wanted to do in me over those 2 days. So I'm about to get extremely vulnerable. I might cry, more than likely. These are, like I said, last week, this season is all about me pretty much just sharing what I'm going through right now. And I understand now that after what has happened to me this last week, I know why the Lord wants me to do this season, because he has taken me through some pretty incredible things. And they are very personal, and typically things I probably wouldn't share with you guys because there's just reasons. I have my reasons, right? There's lots of reasons why we don't share things that we go through, whether it's right or wrong, should or shouldn't. But since I set the precedent that I am going to talk to you guys about things that I am going through, this is something I have to share. So day one, this is Thursday. This conference is a marketing and networking conference, and there's speakers that come up and present. There's breakout sessions. You're given materials, worksheets. There's just lots of things to work through, value to have, all that kind of stuff. So the first thing that we do is we're given this wheel of things that, like, different aspects of our business, or whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a nonprofit, artist, whatever. There's this wheel, right? And it's like all of the things that you should be hitting in your whatever you're doing. And so Kimberly has us write down what it is that we do and just clearly state what it is that we do. So everybody does this. We take a couple of minutes and do this. And then she asks if 2 people would want to share what they wrote down. One person speaks up and shares. I'm getting out of breath because of a lot of reasons, but because this is a little embarrassing and that's hard to share. So one lady shares, and then it's quiet. And Kimberly says, "Oh, come on, guys. I know that y'all want to talk." And so I can't stand the silence. And so I'm like, well, I'll share. And I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling, I have no issue being there or feeling like I don't belong in that room. I know that I'm surrounded by women that are just powerful leaders. I mean, these women are amazing. Okay. We're talking women who have been on TV, women who have written best-selling books, women who lead big businesses and who have accreditations. I mean, we're talking leaders, okay? Um, and so I'm feeling pretty confident at this point, maybe even a little prideful. And so I stand up and I say, I'll share. And this is what I said: I'm building a platform dedicated to the Lord to spur on his daughters to live lives of purpose with boldness, unapologetically. And then I sit back down, and this wave of shame, guilt, embarrassment fills me, absolutely fills me. And people, clearly everyone was looking at me. This is a room of like probably 50 women, all looking at me. And I sit back down and I immediately regret standing up and saying anything. This hits me out of nowhere. I don't know why everything in me has shifted. I am extremely embarrassed, and those words felt hollow. And so I'm sitting there wishing I wasn't there. So completely embarrassed. And I'm trying to understand what just changed in me. And we go through the rest of the day. I try to compose myself. I try to push it out of my mind. I try to, talk myself through it. And I can't shake it. It's like this huge weight in my chest, on my chest. It's like a rock in me, and it's just weighing me down. It's filling me up, and I can't get out from underneath it. And I come to the conclusion that the reason this hits me so hard is because over the last 2 years that I've been doing this podcast and building what I'm building, I have seen very little growth. I don't profit at all. If I do, it is very, very minimum, and it is only through one social media platform. And even though I have talked on this show multiple times how our results do not tell us whether we're successful or not, that's not the metric that we should be looking at. The numbers, the statistics, the all of these things shouldn't be how we measure our success, especially since if we're doing the Lord's work, success should be measured through how we're showing up and what we're doing for him and how we're doing it. That should be how we measure success. I know all this, and yet here I am, feeling so empty, feeling so full of shame and embarrassment and guilt. And I realized that I'm actually not okay with the fact that it hasn't grown very much in 2 years, that it doesn't bring me any income hardly. And so I'm wrestling with this the whole drive back, an hour and a half of just this in my head, not understanding why I can't get past this. I know all the things. I know how I should be thinking. I know what I've spoken to y'all through this platform, through this podcast. I've told you I should be able to be okay, right? But I can't. So I'm processing it. I'm messaging a friend and talking to her through it, thinking that if I speak it out loud, then I will process it quicker, and then I will be able to like understand it and be okay with it, because I've been here before. Okay, this is not the first time that I've struggled with this. This is a reoccurring issue for me. And I'm sitting in my car, and I decide to do a reel, because what I've figured out is that my identity is wrapped up in my performance. So this is something that I've dealt with for a long time. The way that it showed up is that if anyone's ever angry with me, like say my husband, for instance, if he's ever upset with me, my instinct is to kind of pick up the house or clean or put something away. And this is not because it's just like a frustration thing or an anger thing and I just want to do it. It's because if I do this, then he has less of an opportunity to find a flaw in me. That's the motivation behind it. And so it's all tied up into my value, and my identity is tied up into performance. And I've known this about myself, but I didn't realize how deep rooted it was. And so I did a reel about it, because I thought, okay, I've figured this out now that I've understood what is wrong, then I'll be okay. And so I did a reel because I share what I'm going through with you guys, not just here, but in my social media. So I shared the reel thinking, okay, I'm fine. I'll get past this, we'll be okay. And I felt okay. I wasn't confident because, like I said, I felt very humbled by that moment. We go to the second conference. I'm carpooling with another friend of mine. And so we're carpooling together. And we go to the second day, sitting at the table with my friend and another woman. And I'm not okay. I get there, I feel out of place. I'm still wrestling with these thoughts. I'm feeling very sheepish, very shy, very, wanting to kind of just fade into the background. And so we start getting into the material again. And we do the first exercise. And I'm quiet. I'm making notes. I'm thinking through things on my own. I'm not engaging. They're talking, and that's fine for me. I don't really want to engage. And so they turn from having their conversation to me, and they say, one of the ladies says, "Don't you have a podcast?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, how is it doing?" And that question did me in. And I said, I don't know how to answer that. And then I told her, I very plainly, I said, on one hand, it's doing great because I know I'm doing the Lord's work. On the other hand, it's not growing at all. And don't know how to, I don't know how to reconcile these two things. I don't know how to be okay with one and the other. And it's extremely, and the frustration in me and the anger in me was building, and the embarrassment and the shame and all of these things. And so my friend, whom I carpooled with, she looked at me and she said, "But should you really be comparing yourself to other people?" And at that point, I said, "I need a break." And I got up and promptly walked out of the building and sat down outside on a bench and watched the cars drive by, sitting there crying, just sitting there crying and watching the cars pass by. Now, I want to address this response because this response is very, in my opinion, it's very new for me. Because when I lost my father, they had taken him off life support, and everyone was in his room, gathered around him. And I was able to handle it for about 10 to 12 seconds. And I looked at my mom and I said, "Mama, can I just go?" And then she said yes, because she knew she was not expecting me to have to stay. So I left that room as quickly as I could. I stormed out of the ICU. I pressed the elevator button. I know family friends who are more like family than friends are staring at me. They can see it all over me. The elevator doors shut, and I want to punch through the elevator wall. I want to kick. I want to scream. And so I slammed my hand, the palm of my hand on the wall as hard as I can. It doesn't do any good. I go outside. I get through the front doors and feel like I can finally breathe a little. And I see my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, walk up with her son and his wife. And I almost walked straight into her. And she looks at me and she knows, and she hugs me. And I just scream. I scream this guttural scream that I don't even recognize. I don't recognize what's coming out of me. And she's just holding on to me. And then I push away from her and I walk away. I have my Bible with me, my prayer Bible, which actually, funnily enough, is sitting right here. I have this with me. And I just sit down and I open to the Psalms and I just start flipping to my favorite Psalms, the ones that are tabbed out. I don't even know what I'm reading at this point, but I'm just reading. And then out of nowhere, these two women who I had seen out of the corner of my eye because I had just done something very strange in a very public place. although it's probably not too strange at all in a place like the hospital. I'm sure people see it all the time. These two women were sitting over there talking, and then they come and sit on either side of me, and they comfort me, and I tell them I'm sorry, and they both say, "Don't be sorry. We understand." And they pray for me. So I share all this for a reason. So I'm sitting there on the bench. The reason that I stormed out, it was the same response when my father was dying, and I could recognize it. And so I knew I was grieving. And so I'm sitting there on the bench, just crying. My friend comes out. She's like, "You don't have to say anything. I just want to sit with you." And I'm like, "Okay." And so we don't really talk. So I compose myself. I'll go back in, but I still can't go sit down at the table. So I just hide. I basically just spend as much time as I can kind of trying to hide what I'm dealing with. I don't want to make a spectacle of myself. I don't want people to see me. And I go into the bathroom and I just weep. And I get it together. And then the exercise is finally over. Kimberly's starting to talk again. And so we move on. Now, mind you, I haven't told anyone what I'm dealing with. The only person that I told eventually after lunch was Kimberly. Now, this is important to know because what I'm about to share is truly beautiful. And it's beautiful because no one knows the details of what I was experiencing. So people have noticed, though, because I don't hide my emotions well, because it was just very obvious I was dealing with something. And I was unfortunately also too sitting at the front at these round tables kind of spread out everywhere. I was at the front. We're about to break for lunch and someone comes up and says, hey, are you, there's a text that you need to see. And I look at the text. It says, "Ask Sam when I get there to help me with the food." And this was a woman named Gabby. She always does the catering for things that Kimberly does. This is important to know. So I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll help." So I help set up the food, put everything out. Me and a couple other women are doing this. And so I help set up and I get my lunch after everyone else, most everybody else, eaten. And then I go outside and I sit and eat. I sit and cry and eat again up outside. It feels really good though. I'm by myself. I'm praying, I'm processing. And I'm assuming the reason that Gabby asked me to help was because last year at the conference, I stayed behind and kind of helped pack up and clean up. And I also helped serve the coffee. Again, this is important to know. So I'm sitting there eating, and two women come out. The first woman is Michelle, and she's a friend of mine. She's someone I met back in, I think, 2024. She just hugged me and said, "Whatever you're going through, I'm here for you. I'll pray for you." Just acknowledging that she sees that I'm going through something and that she loved me and that she was proud of me. And then the other girl that she was with, her name is Kaylee. And she told me bye. It was good to see me, and it was good to see her, and the pleasantries, and they left. And Kaylee told me she left me a note at my table. I'm like, "Well, thank you." And I thought it was a note because we had been talking earlier and we said we wanted to get together and connect and that kind of thing. And so I thought it was her information, like her phone number, email, that kind of stuff. So I didn't really think too much of it. So I finished eating, and then I run into Kimberly, and I did not want to go back inside, but I had to get coffee because y'all know I love my coffee, and I had to put my food away at my table. And so I was walking inside, and Kimberly's sitting at the front, and she said, "Hey, Sam." I'm like, "Hey." She said, "How are you?" "I'm fine." And I'm trying to not engage. And she said, "No, you're not." And I said, "No, I'm not." So she said, "Well, you don't have to tell me anything." But then she said, "Well, what's going on? What happened?" It was kind of both. And Kimberly, I was okay with talking to. And so I tell her what I'm going through. I tell her that I can't get through this, that I can't get past intellectually, get myself through what I'm feeling, and that it's so strong and so powerful that I can't overcome it. Like, I'm logically, I know what the truth is, but it does not matter in this moment. In that moment, it did not matter. And I was getting frustrated with myself. I was embarrassed. So I was vulnerable. And she's talking me through it, and I'm getting more frustrated. I'm breaking down, and she's trying, to talk me through it. And I hear her and I know she's right, but it still can't, it's not affecting anything in me. But she hugs me and I hug her. She's like, if you need anything, let me know. And I'm, yes. So I set my food down. I go and get my coffee. I'm coming back and I realize that I have a voice memo on my phone, a text from Gabby, the woman that asked me to help set up the lunch. And this is what she said. Hey, beloved, thank you so much for your help. I wanted you to know that it wasn't just about helping me out. When I woke up this morning, God wanted me to let you know that He sees you and that He loves you, and you have great purpose, and you are in your purpose. Don't feel like this is something you've got to get to. You're in it every day that you wake up. And God wanted you to know that He sees you and loves you. And so do I. So I'm standing at the street light, crumpled over on the barrier, weeping, with my phone in one hand and my coffee in the other. And now I'm marveling at how the Lord is having these people come to me when they know nothing about what's happening. And so I go inside and then I set my stuff down, and then I see the note that Kaylee left me. And this is what the note says. Your work matters. You are loved beyond measure. You are more capable than you realize. You are strong because He is strong. And so I'm seeing the theme, right? I'm seeing how the Lord is bringing these women to me. I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to ask for help. I didn't have to ask for the encouragement. He just brought it to me. And as I was reflecting on the why behind all of this, because I didn't understand why would He have me go through this in such a public way? Why at a 2-day conference that I've been looking forward to for a year? Why, when I'm supposed to be focused on building and growing and thinking through new ideas, why am I going through this? I can't even hardly focus because I'm so focused in on this mess that I am right now. What I realized is that He had this happen at the conference because He knew how painful it would be. He knew how hard it would be for me. And so the conference, even though on the surface seemed like the worst possible place for this to happen, was actually the most wonderful place because He had orchestrated these women to reach out to me, to love on me, to encourage me. But more than that, He positioned them in such a way that He spoke directly at the heart of what I was going through without me saying a word. And that could not have happened if I had had this experience at home, because there would have been no one there. Now, could He have still worked through it and had people reach out to me anyway? Yes, absolutely. There was something very special about it happening there, and probably serving a purpose greater than just even for me. Also, too, when I think about the pride aspect of this, there is pride that I have to deal with. This problem of identity and worth and value is rooted in pride. And there is something very crucial about what happened to me at this conference, that I was very humbled and I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. Now, I'm not saying that I should embrace that and wear that. No, I'm not saying that. But it's important to understand that that pride in me had to be broken down so that I could walk into the next experience that He was going to have me walk into at this second conference, the 414 conference that happened Friday afternoon through Saturday night. And that's what we're going to talk about next week, because that's a whole episode of its own. I know that this whole experience, at the heart of it, is that the Lord did not want any barriers between me and him. Nothing, no barriers. He wanted full access to my heart and to everything that I am. No false pretenses, no misplaced identities, no expectations that I've placed on myself or him that shouldn't be there. Because the work that I'm wanting to do and how I'm wanting to show up in this world, I can't do it if I am at the heart and in my heart in a way that I'm not even aware of, that I wasn't aware of. I can't operate the way that I need to operate if these things are in me, if I am misaligned. And so he had to get my attention. He had to break me down. He had to do it in a way that would cause me to be humble, that would break that pride. And it was painful. It was very painful and very necessary. And on this side of it, I'm very thankful for it. My prayer is that I am his and that this work will reach who it needs to reach, and that he will do in me what he wants to do, and that I would be humble. And I have prayed for humility, not because I'm foolish. I know what I'm opening myself up to when I do this, but my word for the year is nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. Jesus said that in the Garden of Gethsemane. And the heart of that is humility, is self-denial, is a full abandon of self to the Lord. And that word was chosen for me. I didn't choose it. The Lord put it on my heart. So seeing my word played out in this experience was also very powerful, because when we have these individual moments that happen in our lives, like me receiving a word for my year, for the year, and then you have an experience like the one I had, and then you see that they are connected, it brings confirmation that you are hearing correctly from the Lord, because you are seeing at play the bigger picture. And when we become sensitive to the Holy Spirit and we become open and obedient to what he wants to do in us, these moments will happen. I hope that sharing this, you're able to take something away, something edifying, something useful. So next week, we are going to talk about what the Lord did at the 414 conference. He did a lot. A lot. I have not experienced him in this way, in this level, ever in my life until this conference. And so I will share with y'all what happened to me there. It's pretty remarkable. So stay tuned next week for that experience. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below, or you can email me at onecalledmama@gmail.com. I would love to hear any suggestions for future episodes or things you would like discussed on the show. I am always happy to hear those, and would love to connect with y'all. Please find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I am on all those places, and you can find me there. Thank you for being here with me today, and I will be seeing you again next week. Bye.